What are some NSFW secrets about the military? When I checked into Fort Bragg in 2011, the very first thing I was told in the in-processing brief was "Welcome to Fort Bragg. We have the most male-on-male rapes and sexual assaults in the nation." The very first thing they told me. I mean, it is Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg murder swamp. Suicides are at times covered up. Yeah, my brother shot himself a week after coming home from Afghanistan, and officially it was an accidental discharge of a service weapon. Which I guess was nice, as my family still got his military compensation. He was one of the first in of many suicides for on that war. I believe they have far outpaced combat losses now. They do this so the family still gets life insurance and various compensation. It's well known, but still kind of obvious when you look at the situation. Yeah, I found my brother's body at his apartment and it was no accident. They gave him the full military funeral at Camp Pendleton too. At least his immediate chain of command took care of him and his family instead of classifying it as a suicide. He was a victim of the war, same as if he'd been shot by the enemy, so it's good they treated him accordingly. This is an honorable way of expressing it, and very true. You have to show your asshole to one of the oldest doctors on the planet before they let you join. I think it is a commitment thing. When I did this, one of the questions on his list was, "Do you drink?" I said no, my family has a bad history with alcohol. Dude sat his clipboard aside and had a good 10-minute heart-to-heart with me about his own family struggles and how abstaining was really the best path in our situation. Then picked his clipboard back up and jumped right into, "Okay, I need to see your anus." I briefly tried to get my pilot license. This involved a special physical to qualify. You start by disrobing and donning the typical hospital gown. Partway through, I'm laying on the table. The doctor asks me to roll on my side. Could sense him just kinda giving a good once-over from behind me to make sure things looked right, I guess. Then he says, "And I'm required to do this." Then gently spreads my ass cheeks. And that was the end of the physical. I can't help but wonder, what disqualifying symptoms does that identify? Like things are looking okay. Then ass cheeks get spread, and suddenly, I don't like this at all. You can't be a pilot. Calling a product military grade is not the compliment that most think it is. Military grade is synonymous with cheapest that met the specifications. The specifications are not high. Specifications: 1. Make it heavy AF. 2. Make it cheap. I don't know how much of a secret it is, but if you're in the military or married to the military, the odds of you being cheated on sexually, or being the cheater, increase drastically compared to your civilian peers. That is classified. Go to Discord. Or a Wart Hunter forum. Any Wart Hunter forum. The amount of waste, fraud and abuse is exponentially more than you think. It still blows my mind that we just shoot all our extra ammo at the end of range day, to make sure we get the same amount of ammo next time. Billions have probably been wasted on that. And that's a small thing. The whole "we need to use X up so we don't get shorted when we need it next time" is such an insane level of bad management. And it happens ducking everywhere. That's how my marketing and travel budgets have been run. It's end of year and we have $20,000 to blow. What work travel can you justify? The rest of the time you're having to jump through 1,000 hoops to visit a customer who specifically requested it to talk about a problem they have that they think you could make money solving. Back in the 60s, my dad's squadron used to dump jet fuel in the Pacific at the end of the year. Same as it ever was. That just instantly made me ducking furious. Thank you. I don't know if this qualifies as NSFW or is unique to the military, but when you are required to provide a urine sample, it must be witnessed by another service member. So on any given day, since it's random, you might be called to pee into a cup while another person stares at your junk. I once got called for urinalysis on a day when I had terrible diarrhea. The observer had to watch me shit just in case I was also able to pee in the cup. I was dehydrated, so it took a long time to finally pee. In addition to watching me shit liquid, this dude had to look at my dick 3 or 4 different times. It was a bad day for both of us. Edit, thanks for the awards. Never thought my top comment would be about shitting during urinalysis. I always laughed at how random piss tests were. Always seemed that anyone coming back off of leave got randomly selected. I remember I came back from visiting my family in Colorado and got selected. No big deal as I didn't do any drugs, but the guy watching me was making small talk and said, "Man, it's pretty cold in here, huh?" I agreed as it was cold and we were in an old building in the middle of winter. It wasn't until I left the building when it dawned on me. That son of a bitch. If it makes you feel any better, my post-vacation meat gazer insisted on basically resting his chin on my shoulder, and apparently eating garlicky ass shrimp for breakfast is a normal thing in his world. I was sure I'd puke in the cup before I pissed in it. Truly one of the most absurd situations I've ever found myself in, and also how I inadvertently found out that holding your breath will alleviate stage fright. We had female soldiers committing their own prostitution. They had a code and everything. If a girl at the coffee shop was wearing PTS and a pink PT belt, she was down to duck for money. One or more of these girls contracted a disease, and next thing you know there is a base-wide epidemic, and I still remember a commissioned doctor coming into the break area screaming, "If I have to look at one more fucking dirty dick, I'm quitting, fuck it." This is very common in the Navy on cruises. Women would sell off during the cruise, making bank the whole time. Had a buddy who knew one who got caught as she was crossing the quarterdeck, and another female had snitched on her and they checked her bags as she left the ship for contraband. She had to explain why she had $30,000 cash in her sea bag. Happened on all my cruises. One ring was run by supply department and used empty staterooms. The code word was asking a guy if the ship's store had any Newport lights, which it never did, then he'd make a call and give you a stateroom key. Another one was ran literally in a female berthing, and one of the girls would walk you in like you were doing an inspection. Crazy times. Apparently straight Marines do gayer shit than people who are actually gay. We had Marines on my ship. They told us this crazy prank they pulled where they all got naked and joined one of them on the shower and soaped them up. And all I could think was, this is the very most gay thing I have ever heard. That's totally not gay, bro. Oh, it's just a prank. What the heck? Okay boys, let's suck his dick after he's cleaned up the soap. Prank of the year. A friend of mine in the Special Forces told me since they are out in the field a lot, they get plenty of ticks. And while you can inspect yourself fairly good, you can't inspect everything, so they pair up and spread their cheeks, and your mate has to stare into your anus to check you for ticks in there. Not very glamorous. Holy duck, I didn't realize I could have a relevant story about this. I used to serve with this super fat dude. Let's call him John. John never got promoted in the National Guard because he was extremely overweight. Towards the end of his contract, he was knowledgeable, but he still couldn't pass height and weight standards, and so was a PFC, and everyone dismissed him. I was new and knew John had knowledge, so I stuck with him. One day in the field, the dude says, "Hey man, can you do me a solid?" And then proceeded an event in which he pulled down half his trousers and spread his fat ass a bit while I checked for ticks, in the dark, with a flashlight. So like I really had to look. Was it a mole? Dirt? Shit? No. Indeed, John had a fucking tick smack in the middle of his ass line between two of the fattest ass cheeks a man could have. Edit, I hate you guys for making me remember this event, but no, I didn't remove it for him. I think either another dude did with a knife, or John himself contorted his fat self into somehow removing the tick from the inside of his ass crack. We didn't have a medic on the team to remove it. Typhus lol. The amount of unreported injuries to doc or to command, thus leading to lifelong issues. On the other hand, if you do go to doc about an issue, you'll be berated and told you are lying about an issue to get out of dudipt. Was ignored and told I was lying about backsciatic issues for months by doc. Jump chain of command, one of my captain, had an X-rays of my lower back, and a month later had a microdissectomy of my L5. Damage was done, medically ineligible to re-enlist, 7 years later, and have to get a spinal fusion due to severe disc degeneration and chronic sciatic pain and permanent nerve damage. Your medic failed you. I believe my guys no matter what, even if they're trying to just get out of PT, I'm gonna hook the homies up. Absolutely, he failed me. Along with others. After multiple complaints to command, he was asked to retire. Instead of being held accountable, he got retirement.